Welcome back to the Gentle Giant Care Academy. Here today, we're going to talk about nutrition. Guys, I know as healthcare providers, you did not have the opportunity to learn nutrition, but guess what? You have no excuse not to know it now because I am going to give you access to what you should know regarding nutrition so you can take care of your patients, because guess what? We all know that obesity is the leading cause of so many comorbidities, but guess what? It is a modifiable risk factor, which means we can help our patients make a change, not just the GLP. So it's also up to you to take your time, spend this time with your patient and explain to them what this lifestyle change means so that when they get on the GLP-1, this weight can stay off even with stopping the medication. Guess what? You have no excuse, guys. This is apparent knowledge that you need in order for your practice to deliver safe and efficient patient care and also great results. Now tune in to this nutrition PowerPoint so that you can learn something. All right, guys, let's dive deep into it. So, understanding nutrition for a lifestyle, guys, this is for providers, this is for your patients. Even if you want to send this to your patients for them to do on their own because you don't want to, I understand, but this will help you and help the patient so that they can actually get the results that we want them to, whether they're on GLPs or not, whether someone is trying to gain muscle rather than lose weight. This is the answer. All right, let's dive into it. All right, so let's start out. What is nutrition? Nutrition is made up of macro and micronutrients. It's going to fuel your mood, your energies. It's going to help you with your joints. It can help you with hair growth. It can help you with your nails, your overall health and well-being. That is essentially what nutrition is. All right, there are 6 main nutrients that are in nutrition. Let's start with our carbohydrates, guys. First and foremost, carbohydrates is not the enemy. You need to have it in your balanced diet for energy, 100%. And we can get this from our grains, from our fruits, from our vegetables, our sweet potatoes, our oats, things like that. Proteins, they are the essential building blocks of muscle, and it repairs tissue. Guys, it also regulates your metabolism. So when we are losing weight, protein is an absolute non-negotiable when it comes to weight loss, as well as any type of diet. Protein is everything, and this is found in our meats, our beans, our eggs, all right? Fats is good for energy as well. They also help support the cell structure. You can find these in our oils, non-seed oils now, nuts, avocado, things like that. We have our vitamins, which can help with our joints, our immune support. That can come from fruits, vegetables, and grains. Our minerals like vitamin D, our B vitamins, all of that can help with bone health, muscle function, and that's found in salts, meats, and dairy. And last but not least, water. That is so important. Guys, as healthcare providers, we have to enforce that because so many people forget that water is essentially very important for most of our bodily functions, including digestion and hydration. All right, so a lot of people don't know this, but there are different body types. And with these body types, you have a different type of person, and it can also tell you how hard or how easy it would be for them to gain or lose weight. For instance, an ectomorph, that is more of your slender toned people. They have higher metabolisms. It takes a lot for them to gain muscle as well as gain weight. So someone like this, they're going to need a lot of calories to gain muscle and to gain weight. And that's going to be primarily from their carbohydrates. Of course, their protein is going to be there as well. They probably have to do no cardio whatsoever to gain weight or lose weight, excuse me. Next is our mesomorph. They're kind of in between. This person can easily put on muscle. They can also gain weight as well, but they are someone who's very well built and they can gain or lose muscle, or they can gain and lose weight at a more superb level without losing muscle. Endomorph, that is me. I used to be a 335-pound man. I did play college football back in the day, but my body was something like an endomorph. These people can look at food and gain weight, and they have to do so much work and effort to lose the weight and keep it off. Hence, you have someone like me who's 250 pounds. I have to do cardio 45 minutes a day on top of working out, and I eat under 2,500 calories. So there are actually women that eat more than I do. So I know it's crazy, but these are body types. You don't essentially have to know this, but it's good to know to give you a general idea of what kind of diet your client may need in order to achieve results. All right, so what are common questions we ask about nutrition? That people don't know what macronutrients are, because we do consults all the time and you have patients that say, oh, I've done everything, I've done this, I've done that. I'm like, okay, so tell me about your macros. And then they don't know what that is. Macronutrients are made up of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. These provide the body with the energy that it needs to produce and do daily functions, work out, and also just to be alive, okay? Carbohydrates are not the enemy. Like I said, it is the most essential nutrient when it comes to gaining muscle. Next, we have our protein, okay? Everyone wants to know how much protein should I eat. That is essential when you are losing weight, because we don't want you to lose muscle mass. That is very, very, very important, especially women in menopause. You need to absolutely have muscle on your body. You're never gonna be a bodybuilder. You're never gonna be Arnold Schwarzenegger. We want you to have muscle for overall health and well-being. So when it comes to your protein, which is measured in grams, which is 4 calories per gram of protein, you want to do at least your body weight in protein. That way, you can maintain your muscle, especially on these GLPs. Everyone is losing muscle, especially if they're taking semaglutide, tirzepatide, or their brand names, because they are not taking enough protein. So when you take someone who's been eating really, really bad, eating a lot of calories, to eating nothing, they're going to lose weight really fast, but then they're also going to lose muscle as well. So the end result, you might not like what you look like because of the inability to take in enough protein as you need to in order to keep your muscle. All right. So what is a calorie? Calorie is energy. Calorie is the amount of energy needed to raise 1 gram of water. So 1 kcal equals 1,000 calories. Common example, 1 apple is about 95 kcals. 1 slice of bread is about 70. Okay? The body uses calories from our food to perform all functions for movement, growth, and digestion. Calories are needed for basic metabolic functions and daily activities. So you have a lot of patients who are under eating once you find out what they're eating. So that's why they're not losing weight. Your body is consistently in fight or flight mode. Your cortisol levels are elevated. You're doing all of this overtraining and your body is not giving what it needs to actually survive. So these people likely are having the opposite effect of losing weight because they're keeping their body in fight or flight mode because they're not giving it enough nutrition. Under eating is not the case. So to combat that, they actually need to eat more. And I know that's crazy, but it's going to increase what's called leptin, which is going to also increase your metabolic system. Some patients may need a diet break. Some people have been dieting for way too long, so they need what we call a cheat meal, where they go out and have, a cheeseburger or some sushi or something like that. Because they haven't been used to that, their body's going to reset that leptin, increase their metabolic system so that they can start losing weight again. All right? So that's a way to get past plateaus, is a diet break. So you're going to eat more calories than you used to, and you're going to go back to it the next day. So that is a diet break. Some people may need a week off, but every patient is different. We're not asking you guys to be nutrition experts, but I want you guys to have the basic knowledge so that we can help these patients continue to progress in their weight loss. Because guess what? A lot of them don't know this. They come to us for guidance. We can't just prescribe all the time. Some patients need more guidance than that, and I'm giving you this as a source to do that. Even if you are a regular person watching this, I want you to learn from this as well so you can take your life and your health into your own hands. All right. So next, we're going to talk about your basal metabolic rate, called your BMR. Your BMR is the number of calories your body needs to, at rest, to maintain basic functions. That's breathing, digestion, okay? And then you're going to go to what your body actually needs when it comes to sports. So everyone has their own BMR. You can calculate it with this calculation below. You don't have to do that, but there's one thing that you can do, what we're going to go over later, where we can actually show you how to calculate your own maintenance calories based off of your body weight and kind of go from there, okay? Another thing you can do is measure what's called your total daily energy expenditure, called your TDEE. That equals your BMR times your activity level. That kind of can give you what your calories should be based off of your activity level. And this isn't set in stone, but it's a starting point for some people to kind of gauge what their caloric intake should be. And then you can kind of decrease your calories off of that. But you will have a basic way to get started. And here are some examples here. For me, I'm a super active person. So mine will be around 1.9. Okay. I walk a lot at work. I work out 5 days a week, play a lot of tennis. So I would say I'm a super active person. But these conversations need to be had with your clients and help them to really gauge on what their calories can be for them to have a caloric deficit for them to lose weight. All right. So when it comes to making weight goals, whether it's to gain muscle or to lose body fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit. So if your maintenance calories is 2,200, in order to be in a deficit, you need to subtract that by 500, equaling 1,700 calories. But we're going to make sure that our protein, again, is 1 gram per pound of body weight. And if someone is trying to gain weight, then they're going to increase their calories by 500. So in this case, this would be 2,700 for the person trying to gain weight and gain muscle. All right. For weight loss, again, guys, your protein needs to be at least your body weight. I can't stress that enough. You're going to hear me say it a lot to where you get annoyed, but that is so important. Your carbohydrates are moderate. Your fats are moderate as well. For someone trying to gain weight, they're going to be eating a lot more carbs because you need carbs to support muscle growth and recovery. All right. A lot of people don't know this, but when it comes to eating, timing actually matters. All right. Protein plays a key role in muscle recovery and growth, especially when it's consumed around your workouts. So pre-workout and post-workout is the most important time to have protein and carbs, lower in fats, because your body needs the glycogen for your workouts, and then your body needs that insulin spike with carbohydrates to feed the muscle after you work out. You have people that will do intermittent fasting, which is fine. They'll work out and then they'll wait 3 to 5 hours later to eat a meal. Absolutely not. You need to be putting in a meal in your body, protein and carbs, at least a minimum 2 hours after your workout. That is a cutoff window because at that point you are working out for no reason and you're going to keep your body in fight or flight mode. And that's not what we want because you will not reach your results as fast or as prominent as you want to because of your diet. Okay, the rest of the day, your body can be fueled by just protein and fats and veggies. Veggies are great because they're high in fiber, so they also keep you fuller for a longer period of time. Combining carbs with protein enhances nutrient absorption and replenishes glycogen stores that were burned during your workout. So when you work out and then you eat, it's going to spike your insulin. That's what we want because those nutrients are going to go to the muscle that you just trained, and also it's going to improve the recovery piece and the growth piece. So your body is most receptive to nutrients during and after training, which is called an anabolic window. Again, at least 2 hours. That's the minimum cutoff point for you to get some nutrients in your body, or you just wasted all of that energy for no reason. All right, there are so many diets out here. A lot of people don't know what to do. I would tell you, for me, or for most patients, I don't recommend a ketogenic diet. That is when you're going to be in what's called ketosis, which means now with that diet, you're eating more fats than carbohydrates, and you're going to be using fats for energy. Yes, it can help control blood sugar. Yes, it can increase mental clarity. However, it is not sustainable, okay? And a lot of people will gain that weight back because they actually introduce too many carbs too fast and your body is not prepared for it because you were in ketosis. So all these other diets like intermittent fasting, Mediterranean, plant-based, paleo, low carb, it doesn't matter as long as you're in a caloric deficit, you're prioritizing protein, you have moderate fats, moderate carbs. It doesn't matter what diet you use, but I would recommend if you're also someone who's sensitive to different foods, do a food sensitivity test, and then you can build your diet off of that, okay? All right, now we're gonna talk about thermogenesis. Okay, so you may not know this, but when you're eating foods, it actually have what we call a thermogenic effect. What does that mean? The energy your body uses just to keep you alive, that is breathing, circulation, and organ function. So activity thermogenesis is calories burned during movement, workouts, and even a small daily activities like walking, okay? Diet-induced thermogenesis is the energy your body uses to digest and process food. That means protein, which requires more energy to break down than carbs and fats. That's why we say, whether you're diabetic or not, it is imperative or better if you eat your protein first before you eat your carbohydrates and fats. This prevents the insulin spike that can happen post-workout or when you're eating. So you want to eat your protein first, because a lot of people, especially when they're taking GLPs, they don't have that big of an appetite. So the cardinal rule of thumb is to eat your protein first and then finish everything else after that. So thermogenesis directly impacts fat loss and weight management. The higher your thermogenic effect, the more weight you can lose. So if, in instance, you need to have protein in your diet, okay? Now we're going to talk about foods that you can eat that have the highest thermogenic effect. Again, protein is definitely that. That's going to come from your lean meats like chicken, turkey, lean beef, fish, salmon, cod, eggs, legumes, even for those that are vegan. Spicy foods. A lot of people don't know this, but things like cayenne pepper, chili peppers, ginger, cinnamon, all those can help boost the metabolism temporarily by increasing thermogenesis. So, for instance, some people will take a shot of lemon juice with cayenne pepper, cinnamon, and ginger as a pre-workout or something to get their metabolism started for the day. Green tea or coffee. Some people will drink black coffee and add a little bit of MCT oil in it to help increase the metabolic rate, and also they'll use it as a pre-workout if they are working out fasted. Green tea contains catechins, which may enhance the fat burning and thermogenesis as well. So you have a lot of things that people don't talk about that can actually help with your metabolic rate as well. Whole grains such as oats, brown rice, quinoa require more energy to break down compared to refined grains, which are resulting in a higher thermogenic effect. So because oats, quinoa, brown rice, they have more fiber and more grains, it takes more work for your body to break it down. Therefore, that means that it has a higher thermogenic effect. Coconut oil is also used, which I said earlier, using MCT oils. That has an increased thermogenic effect. Some people will put that in their coffee to give themselves energy beforehand. And even those who are in ketosis, they would use MCT oil as well in a lot of their foods and a lot of their diet. Okay, so those people that are taking GLPs, anyone who's not taking it, these foods you need to have in your diet anyway. You have eggs. They're high in protein, healthy in fats. They can stimulate GLP release and keep you fuller for a longer period of time. Again, protein, protein, protein. Greek yogurt, love it. Packed with probiotics. Protein supports gut health, and it also enhances GLPs. Your oats, salmon, avocados, green leafy vegetables, beans, nuts, chia seeds, apples, sweet potato, all those are great because they are good for gut health, slows digestion, keep you fuller for a longer period of time. And of course, avocados is great, high in fiber, better for appetite control, and it improves GLP-1s. But, however, in quantity. All of your patients that you are talking to, they all need to have a food scale. Absolutely everyone. I always tell patients, hey, you have been cheating on your diet and on your body for years. Give me 3 to 6 months of consistency and watch how your body change, watch how you feel, watch your energy levels, watch your sleep improve. And don't forget, guys, we also want to suggest any hormones if they need it, any peptides if they need it, because we want them to be good holistically as well, okay? We want them to have the best results possible. Even with diet, we still want them to have hormones to support what we're doing with our GLPs. All right, so here we're gonna talk about losing weight. This is a simple calculation you can do in your sleep at some point. Again, as I said earlier, when it comes to eating, there is an order, especially for those that are diabetic. You're gonna eat your protein first, then your carbs, and then finally the fats to minimize the spike in your glucose. So now we're gonna discuss the calculation to actually lose weight. Again, in the protein, it is 1 gram, and it equals 4 calories. And 1 gram of carbs it is 4 calories, and 1 gram of fats, it is 9 calories. All right, so when we're going to do our calculation for math, we already decided, let's get our daily target. So we're going to multiply our body weight in pounds times 12, okay? That is going to be our maintenance calories. So if we are going to lose weight, we're going to subtract those calories that we calculated by 500. That's going to be our daily target for our weight loss. And then vice versa, we're going to multiply our body weight times 12 plus 500 if we're trying to gain muscle. All right, so let's get down to business. When it comes to protein, you're going to do your body weight times 1 gram of protein. So if I'm 200 pounds, I'm going to do 200 grams of protein. All right. And I'm going to multiply that times 4. That is 800 calories. All right. 0.3. That is about 30% of your diet needs to be fats. We're going to multiply that times our body weight. And then we're going to multiply that times 9. And that's going to tell us our fat calories. So then we're going to add our protein calories plus our fat calories together. And we're going to subtract that from our total daily target right here. And then that's going to give us the amount of calories we have left. The amount of calories we have left is our calories in carbs. We're going to divide that number by 4, and it's going to tell us how much grams we're going to eat in carbs in our meals. All right. And that'll be our total. Our total will be protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And there's a calculation. So as someone is starting to lose more and more weight, and they getting at a standing point where they can't do anything, you're going to decrease your carbs even more, may increase your cardio, things like that. But this is the general starting point before offering in cardio and all these other things. This is the basic synopsis, guys, to get you started so that you can get some results. I promise you, this is the easiest way to get started without all the math and paying these trainers all this money and not getting results. Here, do it yourself. It's not that hard. Right. So, key takeaways. Losing weight does not have to be complicated. So many people make it complicated. It is not. It is easily as eating less calories than what you are burning. Okay. You want to adjust your intake to your goals. All right. Understand your body type. If you're one of those people where you know it's hard for you to gain muscle, then you're going to be eating way more carbs. If you're mesomorph, endomorph, you're going to be in a caloric deficit, right? You want to eat more foods that are going to be supportive to your body. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% healthy, 20% you can have your cookie. You can have your little piece of cake, but that is not going to make up what you're doing. We want to prioritize protein, okay? We want to build a lifestyle, a sustainable lifestyle that we could do at any moment. Even if you're going to go to a restaurant, you know what to find on the menu to be somewhat healthy to still stay in your goals, even though you're not using a scale to weigh it, okay? Carbohydrates is not the enemy. Fats is not the enemy. You need both for certain reasons. Remember, carbohydrate and protein is definitely the most important thing post-workout because you're going to need it to keep your muscle. And also, if you're starting this plan and you have not gotten blood work, providers, make sure your clients get their blood work done so you can check their hormones because you cannot outwork hormones that need help. I don't care who you are. You cannot outwork hormones that need help. And there's a lot of different things that you can use for that. That's in my hormone video. And it dives deeper into there, whether it's male or female, menopause, whatever you have going on, you have to structure it. And I always tell patients, you have patients that have been doing a diet plan or, just kind of eating what they see. When they get in a plateau, they have to start counting calories. Guys, it's not that hard. If someone really wants to make a change, it is that simple. And I always tell my patients, you make time for what you want to make time for. Don't complain to me about this, that, and the third. No, I'm here to coach you, but also take care of you. And I'm going to be your accountability partner. So there will be no tears. There will be nothing over here. I'm going to make sure you came to me to reach goals, and we're going to help you get there. And guys, as providers, it's okay to be hard on your patient. Don't be so soft. You have a lot of people that have never been told no before. Tell them no. Be hard on them. They will thank you later, I promise. Even my patients, they know this. They will tell you. He does a great job at getting us where we need to be because he is hard on us, but also follows up and cares. Just like my mom was a Nazi. I thought she hated me. But I wouldn't be where I am today without her. And that's the same thing with our patients. They need us to be hard on them. They might have never been told. They might have never been educated on nutrition. That's where we come in at, because we have so many providers out here that are prescribing the GLP-1s like it's Skittles, and your patients are gaining the weight back because you never took time to teach them about nutrition. And at that point, you're doing them a disservice. You're creating more harm than good, because when someone loses all their weight and gains it back so quickly, you can bet your ass that they're going to also have some health issues that come with it. Take the time. I don't care. Sit down, go over this with your patient, and give them the resources that they need to be successful. You do this one time, that saves all the callbacks, all the questions. Make yourself useful. You can use any of this stuff, put it on your website, so your patients have some type of tool to stay on track, something to keep them accountable, right? Our patients need us, and we already know the United States is one of the fattest countries in the world. How do we change that? It starts with us. We have to be the ones that our patients are going to come to with an open arms and be ready to tell us anything, and we have to give them answers, all right? It is up to you. You're getting this education for the client, as a client, or you're giving it this for you as a provider. And also, a lot of you providers are not in shape. Y'all need to get it together too, because at the end of the day, your body is your marketing system. Your body is your marketing. The way you take care of yourself says so much about you without even opening your mouth. All right? Explain that to your patients as well. All right? We want to make a change with this obesity pandemic. We want to change what's modifiable, and what is modifiable. It is what you weigh and what you put in your mouth. All right? That in itself can decrease the amount of money that we're wasting on spending money on healthcare, when all we have to do is show and teach people how to eat. It is not as expensive as you think it is. I've already created a video that shows people how to shop, and tell your patient when they're buying groceries, stay on the outside. Don't go on the inside. That's where all the snacks are. Stay and shop on the outside. Get you a meal prep company. Hey, if you want to have patients have meal preps, let me know, because I can give you a link for them to get discounts, for them to order healthy, nutritious meals the way they don't have to count their calories. All right? This is easy. All my providers, I need you guys to be in a line with me on this to change America so we can become healthy. There's so much going on, but at the end of the day, we can at least help our patients become healthier, because we owe it to them, because they've been failed by so many providers for such a long time, and it starts with you, with making a difference. So I appreciate you for taking this course, and I hope you can take this and use it for yourself, use it for your client. And if you are a client or a person trying to lose weight, I hope this benefits you in every way possible. Follow me on at Gentle Giant Care, because I'm always posting knowledge for patients, for providers, because guess what? There's just not a lot of education out there. And that's what I'm going to die trying to do, is getting you guys education so that you can take care of yourself and live a long, healthier life, and staying out of the ER. All right, guys. Thank you for joining Gentle Giant Care Academy, and I hope you can take this and learn from it. Thank you for stopping by and listening to this PowerPoint, and I hope you learned a lot that you can take into your practice, guys. We took our time and broke it down for you, which regarding nutrition, what that is, how to count calories for maintenance, how to count calories for a caloric deficit, every little thing you need in order for your patients to be successful. I've done this for thousands of patients, including myself. Weight loss is also dear to me, because you don't know this, I don't look like it now, but I used to weigh over 300 pounds. And I know, if nothing else, I know how to lose weight, and I know how to keep it off. And I'm giving you this information so that you can be a successful provider as well, and stop being a pill pusher, okay? This is what we need as providers to make a change in America, because guess what? We are obese. Yes, fat as hell. We need to make a change, and that starts with you.